There is a day when the road neither comes nor goes, and the way is not a way, but a place. Although Wendell Berry's poem is about domesticity, the anchor of its feeling, not a way, but a place, where the road neither comes nor goes, aligns with this day. Not a way, but a place. With nowhere to go and only this place, we gather at the cross. Mary Magdalene, his mother, her sister, and John are there. Where is everyone else, we wonder? Not that way, not the way of judgment, this place. With nowhere to go and only this place, we look closely at the cross, that instrument of death, the electric chair, lethal injection, 1.5 degrees Celsius, the blind eye. You can just make out the words carved on the tree: ransom, substitution, like graffiti tags boxing each other out, scapegoat, satisfaction. The atonement theories pile up one on another, crisscrossing and sometimes vexing like words cornered on a Scrabble board, triple word scores even, but a jumble in the day's confusion. They are little comfort ideas amid the pain and the loss. A dying friend recently said, "Over my life, I have had many, many thoughts. They seemed so important at the time. Right now, there are no thoughts. Only sentiments matter." So not that way either, not pride of mind, but knowing of the heart. With nowhere to go and only this place we feel, set aside thoughts for a moment and feel. To feel with thoughts released is not, of course, the same as being willfully ignorant. Not that place. For ignorance, as George Eliot wrote, is a blind giant who would make it sport to seize the pillars that hold up the long-wrought fabric of human good and turn all the places of joy dark as a buried Babylon. No, to look at the cross, encountering full well what we see before us, with the wisdom of theory and theology absorbed, but not the bloat of their space-taking confirmation bias, not in this moment. Instead, allow room for what we need. For theology to be worth anything, theologian Simeon Zoll wrote recently, it must operate in real life, and that real life begins in the heart. With nowhere to go and only this place we feel, and we look closely at him on the cross. Mud from his river crossing at the border, caking his feet, clings to him like our hearts do. Some of the mud dries hard, sooner to fall away, as if to say, staying with this grief is too much. I must busy myself. No, not distraction, not that way, this place. There is nowhere but the holes in his feet, stray gunshots, those in his hands, empty legislation. His table turning surely angered the NRA. A centurion pierces his side, water mixed with blood. The rising oceans are ticking clocks. On his head, thorns mock his presumptuousness, the crown of racism. With the oppressed, disinherited, and the discarded, did he expect to be heard, to matter? And above his head there is a sign, lest any not see. In Greek, Hebrew, and Latin, it reads, "The end of LGBTQ and DEI," though they wanted it to say, "Unitary Executive Theory." With nowhere to go and only this place, but God, it feels good to blame someone else and to refuse to reconcile or love the other. We want to turn away, and we do turn away from those we find easy to hate and those who challenge us, but also from ourselves, which is to say, from the divine spark within us. It's so much easier, as William Blake described, to live at a distance from oneself. For what does it profit someone to gain the whole world and lose or forfeit oneself, Jesus asked. Not that place, not loathing of other or of self, this place, even though these are troubling times. With courage, we can see our part in the madness and not run, but stay right here with him. With nowhere to go and only this place, from this place at the foot of the cross, we will find our way. The road before the house is like a wish, Susan Schaeffer wrote. The road before the house is like a wish that stretches out and will not stop, and the smallest hills are built like steps to the slippery moon. But I circle this house like any moth and see each day open its fingers to disclose the stone. Which hand? The stone in both. In time, the stones humanity has used to injure can be used to build an altar, like the ancient Israelites who laid the pathways of our salvation history. With nowhere to go and only here, letting then even our feelings go, we pray. This day when there is no way and yet we know an infinite path, let us uncurl our fists, reveal the stones we've been carrying, and bring them to the cross. As you approach the cross in a few minutes to kiss or touch as brief prayer, put aside the distractions that only deepen loneliness, alienation, and injury. Lay aside the burdens, the guilt, the hate, the weakness you carry, like a stone placed on a grave. Detach yourself from yourself, in the words of Thomas Merton. It is, Merton said, when we pay no more attention to our own deeds and our own reputation and our own excellence, that we are at last completely free to serve God in perfection, for God's sake alone. Let go then of all you presume to be. God has no need for that. Empty yourself of all this pain and regret. God has taken that for you. Ask forgiveness. It is finished. Become as light of self, pretension, and angst as a moth drawn to a flame, and circle the promise of God's love for you. Not that flame, but this. Let this consume you. There is a day when the road neither comes nor goes, and the way is not a way, but a place. Let this be your way to the resurrection, with yourself, with others, as you are already welcomed home. to this place of all you need with God.